Morning, friends. You may not realize it, but today is officially the last Sunday of the Christian year. Next Saturday, we really should all be having New Year's Eve celebrations, and that's certainly according to the Western Christian calendar. Next Sunday is the first Sunday of Advent, which begins the new calendar year for Western Christians like ourselves. It's the new Christian year. And so in Advent, we begin our liturgical year next week, praying for the coming of the one born to be King. Come, thou long expected Jesus. And the rest of the year, the liturgical year, plays out that drama of the Jesus story, the one born to be King, and yet who is rejected by both religious and secular authorities. They do not recognize his kingdom. And then finally, on the last Sunday of the year, we end on a high note, proclaiming the universal reign of Christ. Jesus shall reign where'er the sun doth his successive journeys run. And so on the last Sunday of the Christian year, which is this today, it's become tradition to reflect on the theme Christ the King, or the universal reign of Christ, which is why all of our hymns and readings today will be carrying that theme. But what exactly does it mean? What kind of a king is Jesus? Today, as we reflect on this theme of Christ the King, we encounter a powerful moment in John's Gospel where Jesus stands before Pilate. In these verses, we find the collision between contrasting visions of power, authority, and leadership. Pilate, who represents the might and the power of the Roman Empire, questions Jesus about his kingship, asking, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And Jesus' response reveals a profound truth. My kingdom is not of this world. But what does Jesus mean when he says this? For many, the phrase suggests that Jesus is King of heaven, King of the world to come. But not all are convinced by this interpretation. For many theologians, when Jesus says that his kingdom is not of this world, he's really saying, my kingdom is different from the usual normal kingdoms of this world. In this sense, the kingship of Jesus is in fact about an alternative way of using power, even in this world. The kingship of Jesus is not about dominance, coercion, or territorial control. It is a kingship of service, humility, and truth. Pilate's understanding of kingship, by contrast, is rooted in the power structures that enforce control through violence and fear. Yet Jesus redefines leadership entirely. His kingdom is one where the greatest are the servants, where love, not force, rules, and where truth, not propaganda, is meant to guide. This radical reimagining of kingship subverts our normal worldly expectations. As Jesus tells Pilate, if my kingdom were of this world, my followers would be fighting. But Jesus' kingdom is about an inner transformation and about relational healing, not about wielding power over others, which is why some people have called the kingship of Jesus, or the kingdom, the kingdom. This vision of leadership aligns beautifully with the wisdom of the Tao Te Ching, that foundational text of Chinese Taoism. Lao Tzu writes, "The best rulers are barely known by their subjects. The next best are loved and praised. Then come those who are feared. The worst leaders are despised. When the best rulers achieve their purpose, their subjects claim, we did it all by ourselves." Elsewhere in the Tao Te Ching, in verse 66, it says, "Why is the sea king of 100 streams? Because it lies below them. Humility gives it its power. Therefore, those desiring a position above others must speak humbly. Those desiring to lead must learn to follow." The Tao Te Ching therefore teaches that the ideal leader is one who acts selflessly, who leads not by force or self-interest, but by embodying humility and wisdom. Such a leader creates conditions for others to flourish without seeking personal glory or recognition. This resonates with the example of Jesus. Throughout the Gospels, we see Jesus washing his disciples' feet, embracing the marginalized, standing alongside the oppressed. His leadership empowers others to discover their own dignity and to embody love and truth in their lives. And so when Jesus speaks of his kingdom, he is describing a reality that transcends the normal political and social systems of this world, but also contains the seeds that will transform them as well. His kingship is about the inward transformation of the human heart and the outward creation of a world rooted in justice and compassion. This is a kingship that challenges us to reconsider what true leadership looks like in our lives, in our communities, and in our world. In a world often driven by competition and self-interest, Jesus and the Tao Te Ching remind us that true power lies in serving others and in surrendering our egos to the greater good. As followers of Jesus, we are called to live out this transformative vision in our own unique ways. What might it look like to embody Jesus' upside-down kingship, or the wisdom of the Tao in your personal and communal life? Perhaps it means leading with quiet strength, fostering environments where others can thrive. Or it might mean confronting the injustices of this world, not with violence, but with love, truth, gentleness, and resilience. On this Sunday of Christ the King, may we commit ourselves to this higher vision of leadership, a leadership that reflects the spirit of the truth of the Spirit within all of us, the truth that binds us to one another in love. For this is the kingdom which Jesus spoke of, the kingdom not of this world, but a kingdom that is ever being born among us when we live as agents of compassion, of justice, and peace. Amen. God bless as you continue to reflect on this theme of the universal reign of Christ on this, the last Sunday of the liturgical year. Amen.